Hi and welcome. I'm Reena Agrawal, Research Economist at Veros Real Estate Solutions.
I'm Eric Fox, Chief Economist at Veros.
Let's talk about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac today, since there is talk that the incoming administration is going to push for privatizing these two entities. They play a crucial role in our housing market, but many people don't fully understand what they do.
That's right. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are government-sponsored enterprises, also known as GSEs, that have been instrumental in shaping the U.S. housing market. They don't actually lend money directly to borrowers, but they play a vital role in the mortgage market.
So, how do they work?
Well, essentially, they buy mortgages from lenders, bundle them together, and then they sell them as mortgage-backed securities. This process helps lenders free up capital to make more loans, which in turn makes it easier for people to buy homes.
Well, that's interesting. So, why were they created in the first place?
Well, in the early 20th century, homeownership was really a distant dream for most Americans. The Great Depression made things even worse. And with so many people losing their homes to foreclosure. So to address the crisis, the government created Fannie Mae in 1938. It was designed to provide a steady supply of funds for home mortgages, making home ownership more accessible.
And was Freddie Mac created around the same time?
It was actually established later in 1970 to further expand the secondary mortgage market. It works in a similar way to Fannie Mae, but with a slightly different focus.
What happened with Fannie and Freddie during the 2008 financial crisis?
Well, during the 2008 financial crisis, it exposed the risks associated with the subprime mortgage market. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac had invested heavily in these risky mortgages, and they faced significant financial difficulties. So to prevent a complete collapse of the housing market, the U.S. government stepped in and placed both companies into conservatorship.
And what was their role during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, during the pandemic, the government implemented various measures to support homeowners. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac played a crucial role in these efforts, providing forbearance and other relief options to struggling borrowers.
Well, now there is talk that the new administration is going to push for privatizing both Fannie and Freddie. Do you think that will impact the mortgage market at all?
Well, that's a great question, Reena. There's been ongoing debate about the future of these GSEs. Some argue for privatization, while others believe in maintaining government oversight. The new administration is leaning towards privatization, but it's a complex issue with potential implications for the housing market. Supporters of privatization argue that Fannie and Freddie were originally intended to be private companies and should return to their original purpose. They contend that the Federal Housing Finance Agency's long-term oversight has stifled competition in the housing finance market and exposes taxpayers to potential future bailouts. Interestingly, following the 2008 conservatorship, the average 30-year mortgage rate was mostly flat for the balance of the year after rising prior to going into conservatorship. However, it's important to note that this coincided with the Federal Reserve's aggressive rate cuts of 200 basis points between October and December 2008. Supporters also point out that even if privatized again, there's an implicit guarantee that the government would not allow such important institutions to fail based on its actions in 2008.
Well, that's interesting, Eric. Are there viewpoints that oppose privatization?
Well, opponents of privatization worry that it could lead to higher mortgage rates, reduced support for affordable housing, and increased market volatility. They argue that government oversight is essential to ensure stability and accessibility in the housing market, particularly during economic downturns. Moreover, without explicit government guarantees as we have today, investors may perceive mortgage-backed securities as riskier, potentially leading to higher borrowing costs. This could further strain housing affordability.
It seems like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a significant impact on the housing market, even though most people don't directly interact with them. So the exact path of ending the conservatorship is subject to extensive debate among policymakers, and that will reflect the complex role these entities play in the US housing system. Thank you for joining us for another RiskWire webcast. Again, I'm Reena Agrawal.
And I'm Eric Fox. Don't forget to subscribe.